What's going on, everybody? Dem Boys back at it. Excited to be bringing y'all this one. I always say that, right? But it is exciting. But these are going to be little teasers and snippets from my ebook. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you just the introduction and the run plays for gun doubles. And then I'm going to give you the introduction and the run plays for trips TE. Typically, this is just how I set up each formation when I do an ebook. Now, if we get to 20 likes, I will drop an HRM gun doubles mini scheme midweek. You got to give me a few days after we get the likes, right, to get that together. Yeah, and I'll drop you that for free too, right? So you're just going to get another little ebook style learning for free. So 20 likes, that's what we need, all right? Website's still being built. Basically, I'm learning right now. I'm in Duke, digital marketing student, right? So I'm just kind of trying to get through this stuff as quick as I can. So I know exactly what the hell I'm doing, all right? I find it's helpful to know what you're doing before you do things. As much fun as it would be to be doing them right now, I got to learn them. So let's get into it. Let's get into our gun double setups here. We're going to have quite a few really good run plays, even though this is a quote-unquote passing formation. So we're going to get started by giving you those run plays and just going over what plays we'll cover so you know what you can get set up. So the plays we're going to set up are RPO zone peak, read option, Y sail, Y shallow cross, inside zone, PA zone read, and fake jet pass power. Those would be our primary plays of which you can choose your favorites to set your audibles. So we interrupt your regularly scheduled ebook style learning. This is for the guys on TikTok, Patreon, everybody who hasn't seen this yet. This is going to be an update to the ebook, what you've already seen, and also part of what you came here for, guys. So you might say to me, well, when you're running that QB run, that motion kind of starts to give it away. Well, first thing, whenever you're doing run plays, I always just fake a hot route like, you're doing a pass play first off. Second off, we can add that motion into different plays to try to mess with people a bit. So maybe I'm calling inside zone, and I'll go ahead and slide him over. If the user just completely bites, we run that way. If the user does see it, you might be able to stop and then cut back and run that inside zone like we're going to talk about later in our trips TE. You will see that. So from a run standpoint, the other aspect of this is we do have the jet touch pass and as well the jet pass fake zone. So if you start getting them with the inside zone and creating a little confusion, maybe that jet pass fake zone will work. Do not run that at a red side. You need math in your favor. So you could run that if it's green. Potentially if the extra defender is like a slow defensive end and regs, you could still maybe do that. The jet touch pass will have better blocking, but these plays all have different timing. So when you have a user trying to run in and shoot gaps for these different runs, and then you start mixing in a play fake, some good pass plays, as it is a good passing formation, that's when you can really get to messing with people. Also, this little mini scheme of 3 plays is great in the red zone. So first, RPO zone peak. The reason we like this play so much is because what often happens is the tight end's man will go ahead and bite in on the run or be back, off as he is in a position where he won't be able to get out there. Now, especially in MUT, where you have really fast tight ends, this can turn into pretty big gains pretty quickly. So that's your first read. I more or less ignore the slant portion of this. It's not that it's a bad read or that it can't get open. It's just that you're much more likely to get ineligible linemen downfield when you throw that read. So it's really just an RBA read, which really does simplify the play as well. So their other option then, go ahead and run it. Not the best run play. Next up, read option. So you always got to check. There are definitely going to be times in this formation where there will be no read defender. So the guy with the little yellow R above him there, You will have times where there is no read defender. To make sure, though, you do not want your mic on one of these two guys. It'll cover that icon up. So you might get confused and think there's no read defender when in fact there is, which is a good way to get your quarterback absolutely murdered. So when the read defender is at corner out there, very tough to read. So again, pro tip, same thing we've done before. We click down Y, we click the right stick. Now we can see what that read defender is going to do. Next up, inside zone. You might be wondering what the heck I can tell you about inside zone, but there are a few good things to cover. So first, if it's something you haven't really seen, a lot of times on the inside zone, you can just kind of stop and go back the other way. In order to pull off a smooth stop and go, you really just kind of pull back and let go, and then you just kind of push forward again. Something you can get the hang of in offense-only practice mode. That's where I recommend that. But that's not really why we're here. So in this case, we have a right-handed quarterback. We need to flip it so the running back is to his left side. If you have a left-handed quarterback the other way, do not do this the first time in a game that you care about. But it is kind of funny, and it's a little bit of bubblegum. Something TD Barrett did, just, again, bubblegum, kind of funny. What we can do is we're going to hand it off, then we're actually just going to quickly pitch it right back to our quarterback. Pitch is going to be left bumper. And then I can try to go ahead and get that corner. The next play we're going to talk about is fake jet pass power. This is a great little run play with the quarterback, so we'll even come out in big nickel, play a little bit better run D. The most common mistake I see when this play is run is people just automatically try to head towards the sideline. You really want to try to run in behind your tackle and tight end. If that's closed down, then you work your way out. So your initial read is inside and you work your way out, not the other way around. And you can see the way the puller comes around. That's how the play is intended to be run. Now, that's not to say that you can't get away with this. Understand both our options, but it's not meant to be run that way, and that is by far the most common mistake we see. Honorable mention, the jet touch pass and the jet pass fake zone. If you are playing squads where you have 3 users or even 2 users running around, that stuff can work really well with the fake jet pass power if you can get users running the wrong way. Let's go over the plays that we're going to use when we get into gun trips TE. And you can set any of these as your audibles, whatever you feel comfortable with. PA slot corner, PA crosses, potentially read option, slip screen to a lesser extent. I wouldn't set it as an audible, but it is an excellent play you can utilize from time to time. Curl flat, flood, verticals, speed option, potentially. If you have fast break on your quarterback, that's going to be a phenomenal play. RPO zone alert bubble, as well as inside zone. Let's get started with the bubblegum. If you have fast break on your quarterback, if you're using the Ravens in regs, if you can spare that AP on offense, you think this is worth it. I would not run it in Xbox salary cap. Everybody knows it's coming. Those guys have seen it a lot. But outside of that, it's a great play. The reason this works, when you have fast break, you get quicker control of your quarterback, so you can actually run to the left. So you'll just press left and turbo, and he'll go ahead and run over there. Now, if you can get better blockers, the way this works, this guy on the inside, his blocking abilities do not matter. You can have anyone there, and they'll more or less do exactly what you need. To a lesser extent, this guy matters. If they're lined up against an outside linebacker or a really good safety, then they matter. You're going to want this guy to hold his block longer than anyone, so realistically, you would want your best blocker over there if you are simply just going at this like, I don't care, I'm not trying to trick you. Or if you're building a MUT team, you can go ahead and mix up your personnel accordingly as you create your team. But you can see if you get halfway decent blocking, it is absolutely difficult to deal with. Now, here's where this gets really fun. All right? You cannot fumble when you run this. I repeat, you cannot fumble when you run this. So you can run the wrong way. People are going to be trying to kill your quarterback. You can get all sticky. It does not matter. You will not fumble. If somebody comes out in 3-3-5 wide and they go ahead and slide their line over here maybe, and they have safeties, that is going to be key. Maybe Lawrence Taylor's a few guys who could maybe do it, but primarily for it to be a problem, they're going to need to be coming in from 3-3-5. They're going to need to have safeties out there, and you're going to see why here. So he can get a free shot at you, but it doesn't necessarily matter unless you have a player who can pay that off. So one thing that you can go ahead and do, and I really enjoy doing this, so if you have a right-handed quarterback, you need to do this to the right. If you have a left-handed quarterback, maybe you have Vic in there, you would need to do this to the left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just run directly at my center, and then I'm going to go ahead and pitch it out to the running back. The man coverage collapses, and your running back's left alone. Now, one more thing that you can note, when you're running the wrong way, you can cut this up and just kind of try to fall forward and get a few yards there if you need. The next quote-unquote run play we'll take a look at is RPO Zone Alert Bubble. First, we'll take a look against zone. So we'll show you against a cover 3. Now, what you really need to note here is if you have a right-handed quarterback, you're going to get the quickest release possible throwing to the left. If you have a left-handed quarterback, you'll get the quickest possible release thrown to the right. And that's because the quarterback has to open up his body to throw to his strong arm side in this case. So you'll see here, right-handed quarterback, when I throw to the left, he can just turn around and throw the ball. Doesn't really need to set the feet, anything like that. The other reason I like to ride that out to the last possible second is because B's man will oftentimes get caught in the traffic. If you wait just a bit and throw it at the last second, you can get an angle like that. The last run play we're going to talk about is inside zone, and you might be saying, why would we talk about that? It's an inside zone. Well, maybe this is something you've seen, maybe not. It just kind of depends. If they're playing man and maybe there's nobody on the backside because of the, maybe they're playing in the alignments more, something like this. What you can do is just go ahead and stop when you get the handoff and then shoot back to the backside. Kind of come in at that guy and just weave back out. So just kind of watch that again, and you can see I run directly at the safety, and then I just kind of bounce out towards the sideline to get extra yards. Very similar to how we handled the bubble screens and I-form slot flex. So I hope y'all found that helpful. Remember, 20 likes, we can get this HRM stuff rolling. Nobody's seen that, guys. Nobody's seen it. Bits and pieces of this ebook are up already, and that will be a pretty big focus here next week, trying to get some of that crammed in. But you guys can facilitate some of that by getting 20 likes on this, and that HRM stuff's going to start coming up. All right? So, like, obviously, free ebook stuff. I think we like that, right? And then comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Anyways, dem boys, peace.